Hey guys, how's it going? I thought I'd shoot a quick video showing you the first knife that I made. Um, Always been interested in knives, always wanted to make one. So I bought myself a 2x72 grinder and decided to go at it. So this is the first knife that I made. Lots of things learned making this knife. Things that I've made a mental note of, things that I've written down. So the next knife they'll be, well, hopefully it'll be made to a slightly higher standard. But I made this one for myself, and it's not perfect, but for a first knife, it's pretty good. Let me just show you a little bit closer here. So, it's made of O1 tool steel, and it's hollow ground. I have a 10-inch contact wheel on my grinder. It's an AMK 72. Handles a G10, black G10, red G10 liner, which is not showing up so great. I think that is because I used a black epoxy, right? Or maybe that's just how red shows up with black G10, but I don't think so. I think it's more to do with the epoxy that I used. I didn't use a standard epoxy. I'm in the auto body industry, so I have access to collision repair epoxies, used for welding panels, and this stuff works with fiberglass, SMC, metal, wood, works with everything. So I thought it would be good, but it was quite tricky because it was only a 5-minute work time before it started to cure. So I had to move pretty quick. Yeah, so the belt finish that I did on the grind there, on the bevel there, is 400, and then I hand sanded it to 400 too. I nicked the thing when I was profiling the handles, and I was profiling with 50 grit to knock this G10 down, and I whacked it right there. And I started up with 80 grit and worked my way to 400, and it's still there. So, anyway, like, lesson learned. Wrap the thing up right. Loveless bolts. So we've got brass outer, stainless centers. Again, I ground these down and sanded them, but there's still scratches in them. So next one I'm going to finish a little bit nicer than this. I'll make sure I spend time like even getting the scratches out of the bolt heads, right? Mosaic lanyard. I don't think that's going to show up so great here. Let me just take a look here. Anyway, it's brass, brass outer tube, brass inner tube, and then brass rods all the way through. Looks really nice in person. I contoured the handle in the back to swoop down. You can see that maybe. And then I got it so it slopes down in the front there. So yeah, I'm very proud of it for a first knife. I think that was a really good go. So I can say that I am hooked now, which is a good thing because a 2x72 grinder is not a cheap thing to buy. And to be honest with you, knife making isn't the cheapest hobby anyway. You gotta love it because yes, this is the first knife that I finished, but it's not the first knife that I tried to grind or the first knife that I tried to finish. Alright, and I think anybody that's getting into knife making needs to be prepared that they will probably end up with a few knives in the box of shame, as Jeremy from Simple Life calls it, and I think that's aptly named. And steel's not cheap. There's no such thing as a practice steel. You can't use like cheap welding steel because that stuff's toxic and it'll kill you, right? So you've got to just bite the bullet, take your time, and if your first few knives are scrap, they're scrap, but you're going to keep learning. And I got to the point where with this knife I was like, okay, I'm going to finish this. This thing is going to end up with handles and I'm going to sharpen it. right? The next knife I'm hoping will be a lot better, and then the next knife after that, and so on and so on. Anyway, if you're checking this video out, I much appreciate it. The next knife I make, I hope I'll be able to make a video showing me making it from start to finish, and you can see my little suburban knife shop. Don't have a workshop, but you know, single car garage type guy. So for those of you getting into knife making that are in the same situation as I am, I'll show you my single car garage workshop. All right, take care, and thanks for watching. Cheers.